Today, we are talking about an amazing tool that can help us scan for similar chart patterns and similar patterns that we've seen in pairs we trade, in stocks, futures, and all the things that we trade on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis, how we can scan through that in a matter of seconds and dive back through years and years of data that can really give us an edge in our own trading and help us build our own trading plans, our own trading strategies. Not only is the tool new, but I think we're going to understand how we can utilize this tool, probabilities, and past data to help us in the future. And that's the goal by the end, to make that very, very clear. And so this tool we're going to talk about today is called Candlescan. And what we do with this tool, what you can do with this tool, is select a symbol and a date. And what you do is you go back in time to that specific date on that specific symbol, and you can say, hey, I think this period is interesting, or this pattern or this time frame is interesting. Let me see if I can find when this happened in the past, or a similar situation happened in the past, what might be more likely to happen in the future. Does that start to ring some bells? I think that's going to get a lot of people who know what trading is actually all about thinking like, oh, that's pretty cool. And I know when I first heard of this tool, I was like, whoa. This is actually pretty cool stuff. So let's get into it. So let's go and pull up the euro versus the Canadian dollar. And let's go look at any given day throughout history. I can go back to June 5th if I want to. And I can see how this is played out. And what I could do is that I can go and click on the symbol, the date, and then select range. So I can go in here, and then when I click on select range, I can select the range, any range that I want. And once I do that, I can click on the search bar, and it's going to search for similar patterns. Now, I've done a bunch of these for you that might be a little bit more easy to understand, that I've gone back through. We've got a couple to talk about that could be some trading scenarios that we are more familiar with, or that you might be more interested in. This is just random. I pulled it up randomly, and maybe that's a pattern that you want to play off of, but maybe not. So let's go back to the Euro USD. And if I want to go back to this, once I search, it'll come up in my search history. When I have it selected to my pattern, that's what we're seeing. But I can jump over to where it says best matches. And now we're going to get a ton of similar situations throughout the past 5 years where Euro USD did something or matched closely to our pattern. And then we're going to be able to see the data behind it. And what I mean by that is this, up in the top, pattern statistics. So we've got kind of your run-of-the-mill uptrend. And this is a first, or I guess one of these similar patterns. Back to my pattern. Here is the pattern that we're looking at. We highlight this, and essentially this tool is going to go, okay, cool, process. How can we find, or can we find similar situations or similar patterns? Let's go back in time. And that's what happens. So best matches are going to do that. Then I go up to the top right where it says pattern statistics. And right here is where the money is made, in my opinion. Here is where things get really cool. It's going to tell you not only the number of events or similar events over the past 5 years, there's 100 options. The past year, 24, 6 months, 3 months, and last 1 month. So not only is that going to give you an understanding of like how, often does this pattern tend to repeat itself, but you're also going to see this on the left-hand side. What tends to happen after our pattern presents? So after our highlighted pattern presents on those similar situations, what tends to happen in the next 15 minutes, next 30 minutes, next 1 hour, 4 hours, and at the end of the day, by the end of the day, the day's close? Data like this can be very helpful. It tells you if we've been trending up for about 2 hours on the Euro USD, if I want to take a day trade, odds are not in my favor to go long. Now, you could go long and it will work sometimes. It will actually work a decent amount of time, but just north of half the time, it doesn't work. And I'm not here to sell you on a strategy. I'm not here to tell you to do this. No. This can be replicated for any strategy you want, any pattern you want. It's the data and it's the probabilities that's interesting, at least to me. Maybe to you, maybe not to you, but at least to me. Here's a situation on, let's go to my pattern, where we have the US dollar versus the Japanese yen. We have kind of a consolidation, a big dip, and then a bounce back. What tends to happen after that? Not as clear. Closer to 50% on that. How about the pound versus the dollar? Let's go to an example of the pound versus the dollar where you have a move down and kind of a V-shaped bounce back. And we see that the pound versus the dollar, after that move, we tend to see in the short term, it move higher. Just north of 50-50 shot of it moving higher. By the end of the day, maybe not so much. Another example of the pound versus the dollar where we have, let's check out our pattern, a period of consolidation and then a breakout to the upside. Right, so we're consolidating, kind of flatlining, and then boom, big breakout. What tends to happen after that? Funny enough that we end up closing lower. We close, the percentage of the time we close higher is less than 50%. It's in red, meaning that we close lower more often than not across all of these different time frames. Does that start to get interesting? I mean, at least to me, I think it is. So you just got kind of a small sample into the power of Candlescan and what this tool can really do. But we obviously can't cover everything and we can't go through every scenario and pattern in just a webinar. Unfortunately, it's something you have to kind of do on your own, but that's not a bad thing. I say unfortunately in terms of time here. On your own, you can play around and do all of this stuff and customize and create strategies up the yin yang. Test them, journal them, and then roll with what works and roll away from what doesn't work, right? It's as simple as that. And that's what's awesome about journaling your trades. And that's what I kind of geek out when it comes to this trading space. But if you're serious, it's time to take scanning to the next level. So click on that link below this video, check out Candlescan, try it risk-free. I hope you take advantage of it. There's not much to lose. Thanks so much and happy trading.